Yes.
Welcome back from the short break. Council, if you're ready with the next witness, you may proceed, please.
Mr. Bajo, welcome back to the TRRC.
Thank you very much, Lead Counsel.
This is your second appearance, isn't it?
Indeed.
Good. So you know how we operate. Mr. Bajo,
Yes.
Could you kindly repeat after me? I, Lamin Kaba Bajo,
I, Lamin Kaba Bajo,
hereby affirm that I will speak the truth. That I will speak the truth.
That I will speak the truth.
The whole truth.
The whole truth.
And nothing but the truth.
And nothing but the truth.
Mr. Bajo, you have just made an affirmation, a declaration to speak the truth. It is an offense under the laws of this country to provide false or misleading information in a declaration or after having made a declaration to speak the truth. Do you understand that?
Yes.
It is also an offense to lie to the TRRC or to provide false information to the TRRC. You understand?
Yes, I did.
Good. Mr. Bajo, you are called upon to testify about the fate of the West African migrants who were arrested in the Gambia in July of 2005. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Good. And because you have testified before, we would not ask you to provide information as to your background. All right? But could you confirm to us that sometime in 2005, you were appointed foreign minister?
Yes.
Can you recall the date?
I can't recall it offhand, but I know it was the month of October 2005.
Could you speak up a bit or speak closer to the microphone?
Yeah, it was, I can't remember the date offhand now, but I know it was sometime in October 2005.
Good, thank you. In October 2005, you would confirm that the investigations of the fate of the West African migrants was taking place in the Gambia.
Yes, I learned of it, I heard of it.
And did you have any connections with that investigations?
Not at all, not at all.
But as foreign minister, would you agree that it was also your responsibility to liaise and coordinate with the Ghanaian government on this particular issue?
It depends on the circumstances, but because when I came in, the foreign ministry, the matter was already had already happened, and then I heard that investigation was going on.
Could you take that again? I could barely hear you.
So, I mean, it may be, but what I can say is that when I was appointed, the incident had already happened, and then I was aware that investigations were ongoing.
Good. Mr. Bajo, we had done this in English. I had forgotten completely about the interpreters. But we've only done a few questions, so perhaps we should just take a few steps backwards and at least avail the public of the benefit of interpretation of what you're saying. Sorry about that, Mr. Bajo.
No, it's okay. No problem.
Mr. Bajo has just made a declaration that he would speak the truth, and he has been informed that it is a violation of the laws of this country to provide false information after having made an affirmation to speak the truth.
Mr. Bajo, lahido dile ko abe to nyale for andu ya sinande nda male ko fana nyimulu al tinyal di Gambia banko kanjan tumanda tumala menna ye lahido di ko to nyale for andu bina sedando dila ena kuma suto balo fo omulu al tinyal de yolo faye.
Mr. Bajo, just to for the benefit of the listeners at home, could you tell us your full names again?
Mr. Bajo, pour la moyerlal membe banta ila nafa kan fesito ni konton fono nyene kotanke ba.
My name's Lamin Kaba Bajo.
Ntomu Lamin Kaba Bajo leti.
Date and place of birth?
Iwuluda mintole andu iwuluda sanjumalla.
10th of November 1964.
November karotil tang 1964 le muwuluta. Brikama.
You have served as a government minister in the past, haven't you?
Komantono inana keta minister ti nyimbankun kanjam fonde.
Yes.
Ha umuto nyalti.
And in 2005, you served as Minister for Foreign Affairs, correct?
2005 sankono iketa minister membe marli nimbantala bankol tema fonde.
Yes.
Ha umuto nyalti.
And which ministry did you serve in as at October 2005?
Ye ministry jumale do ko ministry jumale koto 2005 October sankono.
Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Wala Minister Bundati membe Gambia ni mbantala bankolu tema.
And you said you took up that position in October 2005. Until when did you serve as foreign minister?
Ko yo makamo nyinta kabo October 2005. Yeddo ko ke makamo nyingo palaso nyingo no ka minister fo wati juma.
October 2006.
For October karo 2006 ntarta palaso tono.
And what were your responsibilities as foreign minister?
Mala men etele mun minister de men membel ni bantala bankol tema ila lonkundo dunol munati.
It was oversee Gambia's foreign and diplomatic service.
Walem Gambia ni mbantala bankolu tema chokinyolo memben ni tema pour nga wono ma sata nga jube pour ka kolu tamandi je
and implement the country's foreign policy.
Ani bankola sartolu men keta nim bantala bankolu tema sartol ti pour ka wolu tamandi.
Mike.
And that should also include managing and maintaining the relations between the Gambia and other countries around the world. Correct?
Anu wala ngabetara nyinko wala nyinti ko katopotoro ke aninka jubero ke Gambia ning bantala bankol temu ni temu la topotoro nyala fo.
Yes.
Ha.
And in 2005, there was an investigation regarding the fate and whereabouts of West African migrants who were alleged to have landed on Gambian soil.
2005 son kono kisikisiro keta ka long ani la alhalo be nyaadi le pour ka ko jube 2005 ni Ghanaian dingol mi ango na rajang na banko kanjang ila ko be la nyaabe nyaadi le.
Yes.
Ha.
What do you know about those investigations?
Ite mune longo kisikisiro nyinto.
All that I know about the investigation
Ngamembe longo kisikisiro la karola
was the feedback I received from the Minister of Interior.
Walem kibaru mengamel nu soto kabo minister bulu mem marta banko kan kunyal.
The Ministry of the Interior.
Wala minister bundati mem marta banko kan kunyal. Mike.
Mike, Kanzu.
Could you say that again, please?
Omurun kambang, yo fokotangeba.
I mean, through updates from the Ministry of the Interior.
Walem kuolu men ya lonko e kabo minister bundala mem marta banko kan kunyalla wolu ka kibarul menu dinna nka walle soto.
As part of your responsibilities as Minister for Foreign Affairs or Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs, did you have interaction with your Ghanaian counterpart about this particular investigation?
Tumala mena munu minister member nimbantara bankol tema. Ila don kunto dunol kono abe kono fo wati soto dalaba ini do nyolu menke da Ghanaian ol fanan na karolati. Fo wati soto dalaba ini ku dundal ini wol tema ba nyin kiskisiro lak fanna la ba.
Yes.
Ha.
Can you tell us about those interactions?
So say nyolo soto nyolo fo nyaba ini wol mune du nyotema o Ghanaian ol.
It was not the Ghanaians, but it was Ghanaian foreign minister.
I'm not
then.
hearing.
Could you speak
I mean the
up
Ghanaian foreign minister at the time.
Wotembo Ghana la minister membe ni mbantala banko lutema.
We had few casual or informal discussions about the matter.
Nga kachalu dolu ke men ya lonko wolle keta koluti mentilinta wo kuofa ngokungola.
Where he was expressing their desire for the investigation to be speeded up so that they can have more facts of the incident.
Abe nyine ye foka numpuru wo kisikisiro nsala nyame ya lonko kibaro membebe dendi ngokola pro atesio kibaro lusoto no kuwe koyama.
And in addition to the personal interaction, he also sent me a letter or 2 letters. I can't remember exactly, but I know he sent me a letter.
Hani amanke na la udia molu fanal ting hakilo bakang letter killing wala letter fula soton tale me ya lonko wol botete la karola kanankang hakilo mamuta bake dal jellom bari letter soton ta membote la karola kanante kang
and
inquiring about the state of investigations.
pour ka nyinin karo ke o kisikisiro la kola.
Have you ever responded?
Inane jabiro dile ba.
Yes, I did.
Ha nga jabile.
Do you recall when?
Hakilo ba kan o keta wadi jumal la ba.
I can't remember exactly, but I know sometime by the end of the year 2005.
Hakilo ta mutamala de wato mem fangum bari nga jabiro ka ayenne ning hakilo ni manyina 2005 sango bandula ma fangola.
2006. I'm not sure of the date actually.
Bari wala 2006 Juna wato bari alungo hakilo ma mutano.
We have sent you this document dated 2nd December 2005 under the reference MEA/C/5305/ open 26-LKB brackets close. Have you seen that document?
Manin kaito kiyene me alon ko lungo be je wala December karoti fula 2005 fo ya kaito nyin jela ba.
Yeah, I saw it before, but I can't remember the date on it. But I don't have it in front of me now.
Kaito nyin
But I believe it is.
ngajele num wato men akita na bari bitum hakilo ma lungu mutanu bari nyin tembe kaito nyin amantara mbalajang.
We have an unsigned copy of the document obtained from the NIA file on the death of the Ghanaians. And that is what we sent you. Did you read the document?
Yeah, I read it.
Ngawle soro NIA la file o nyinto ba ngaw imenki fo ya kaito nyi ya karande ba.
Sorry, I read it.
Ha nga karanne.
Did it remind you of the document you wrote?
For haya kilo bulanda man kaito la yeme safe bang.
Indeed, very well.
Ha kende kede.
And was this the letter you wrote?
Fanyina mu letter ite yeme safe bang.
Yes.
Ha.
And this was the information you sent to the Ghanaian government, correct?
Ina mu kibaro te menki Ghana mansafunda mafo.
Yes.
Mr. Bajo.
Mr. Bajo.
The information before the commission is that the facts contained in your letter are a complete lie. It's a complete cook-up to cover up the unlawful killing of Ghanaians in the country, in the Gambia.
Kibaro nga men sura jang wala nyidi ko kibaro men be safiro do kayto nyindo kula me alon ko fan yalem anu wala nyidi maboro len ron pour ka kata ko len pour ka maboro ke nyin Ghana so Ghana dingol me alon ko ye fajang wanta yaka.
Yes, I fully agree, 100%. Based on what I learned recently.
Yes, but Mr. Bajo, you sent this letter to your counterpart in Ghana. You accept that it's completely false information that was provided.
I learned the reality of the facts based on the outcome of the TRRC.
Okay. From the TRRC hearings, which obviously you have listened to, you agree completely that the story you gave was completely false.
Yes.
How do you feel knowing that the letter you sent to your counterpart, who is today the president of Ghana, is completely false? It's a cock and bull story.
President of Ghana banko kan umukuma kanel me alonko amanke to nyati kuma kulle me alonko ro miral famira kumol ron wolle be fuduring wole taro nyinkono.
I feel very bad, very embarrassed, and I felt the team.
Akatanya kuti dame ya lonko akuyata nyebake akatanya maloti andu ninkumu ye pumakangolu menu fotante ye nenele.
But Mr. Bajo, did they really mislead you? Or you just allowed yourself to be used to submit false information to a sister republic friendly to this country?
Yeah, meradum fanando itel mansilo di pour ye muna fa ila drum pour ka kuma kango di I donyo la me alonko banku ni banku Ghana ni banku Gambia la kolbe nyoy nyame ka ki we kuma kanu me alonko amanke to nyati.
Not at all, I didn't agree with that. But the story is not my own story.
Well, let us test that, Mr. Bajo.
No.
You obviously read the letter. Since you wrote the letter, you obviously know its contents.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at some of the contents of the letter. Let's look at, the paragraphs are not numbered. So it will make it a bit difficult, but I'll endeavor to read them out so that you can hear. You said here that on page 2, okay, you said following the preliminary investigations, it came to light that the group had fallen victim of unscrupulous human traffickers who had taken money from them with the promise of arranging for their transfers to Europe. Consequently, in the light of the long-standing fraternal relations between the two sister republics, the group was cautioned and released on humanitarian grounds. That was false, correct?
Yes, lead counsel is false, but it's not my own making. These are not my words. These are advices I got from the sister government institution. I was not part of the investigation. I never interviewed anybody.
Could you take that again? I think we are missing something.
Yes.
You said these are not my words. Is that what you said?
I mean, they might be my words, but information are not my own. I'm not the originator of the information.
Akoto nyala la kumakangol lambar kibaro le dita te fanana me ya lonko wala ya kendi ate kumota wo kibaro leto wala na yo kumodi.
Who gave you that information?
The Ministry of the Interior.
Bota Minister Bundala me ya lonko wala marta banko kan kunyalo.
And who in the ministry told you that?
Ministry member marle banko kono kunyala jumale o foye ol kono je.
Council, I wouldn't know. I didn't have any direct interaction with anybody. When I received letter from my colleague, the ministry to the permanent secretary wrote to the Ministry of Interior update us on investigation.
Lead council ntalo nola. Katu nyinko kaito nying briana tante mantenga ole jibe katu abotana ndameng wala kita minister bundati membi marata banko kan kunyalla ka kaito nyin tambindina permanent secretary bulokono andu biru kaito futatante mante fananga muna fango kaito lela wala kita wakuma kan olti menu findita je wonya.
Mr. I just want to suggest to you that this letter you wrote was not written in isolation or in ignorance of an investigative report that was put together by the government on November 9, 2005. An investigation panel produced a report which must have informed the letter that you sent to the Ghanaian authorities. Do you agree?
I believe so, because even though I've never set my eyes on that report, but I believe so, that must have informed the letter.
Kibaro informed the letter informed the Tefonia Mambuya Kang. But between Katanyame Abeg Padi Muru Kankotake
Gomma report on Yamana report of Yanya.
Abanta Akanama report on Ninja Anyala. He has never seen the report with his own eyes.
Okay, let me read out 2 paragraphs from your letter, 1 paragraph from your letter, and 1 paragraph from the report produced by the government. I will read the report out, and then I'll send it to the chairman to verify that I am reading exactly the same thing. Paragraph 15 of the report of the investigation panel. That is Exhibit 206A, Mr. Chair.
Exhibit 206.
It was dated 9 November 2005. It says as follows. In paragraph 15, The investigations consider Mr. Martin Kier's claim
Mr. Martin Kieri la kumakangoto.
Particularly his reference to the military man,
Surtout sojar kewni na kumo fo damento.
quote unquote, dressed in bizarre manner and wearing a traditional cap.
Ko sojaro nyinge dum fengol dum yalan ko nay na ada dum fengol ay wollel dum.
As an imaginary thought or illusion. As an imaginary thought or illusion.
Akatale ko mola hakili mira kenso wala item fango sondo mo e ko menje me yalon ko asekeno kusuto baloti bari sondo mo yole mira.
That every sane or objective person will see as fabrication.
Ko woto mo mondin menketa sondo metioti niaji yaju be balo nako nyimukuma soto baloleti kuma kenso le kafunyo maje.
It is prudent to note that
the
Gambia government managed a well-disciplined security force
Gambia mansakunda ye bunda soto meya lonko aketa bunda sabatirin kuluringoti
where improper dress is not tolerated.
Damen hanidum fengo meya lonko amang anin sarto mantanyo lebkauta.
To say that a military man was wearing a traditional cap with cow horns on them is unfounded.
Kafoko sojaro sotontale me ya lonko ay dum fengo dum bitung binolu ning kurungulu babala menketa dum feng kawakoti ko mo kuma soto balwonte.
That is what the report said.
Report o e wala fo.
Now let's look at what you said to the Ghana government. Mr. Chair, the letter says, as regards Mr. Martin Kier's claim, particularly his reference to the military man, dressed in a bizarre manner and wearing a traditional cap, any sane and objective person will see this fabrication as a product of the figment of his rich imagination. Mr. Bajo, do you see that you have copied?
Mr. Bajo, ye taro kele.
Or quoted from the report of the panel. Can you see that?
Yes, lead counsel.
Lead counsel.
As a former civil servant, I'm sure you know how the government administration works.
Could you just allow for the interpretation also?
Okay. I didn't doubt and I didn't refute the fact that that particular thing is extracted verbatim from the report.
Manyin soso ndumang hakil fula soto je ka foko kumakango atata kibaro le to abota kibaro le konomi ya lonko yewole kensum ka kafu nyoma.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Just made counsel. If you can just tell me the date of Mr. Bajo's letter to Nana Amatude, Ghana Foreign Minister.
2nd December 2005.
Okay, and the date of this report that he's quoted,
9 November.
9 November.
Yes.
Fine, thank you.
So Mr. Bajo, you obviously must have seen this report, seeing that you have quoted it, contrary to what you suggest.
Not at all, not at all. I've never said an eye on it. What would have happened was, when a letter was sent to when such requests are made to a sister ministry,
ninyi kanindiro keta kabo minister bunda doto me ya lonko fanambeloring afayene nimmenu be nyokang
the minister that has been written to would have replied And since they are privy to that report, they would have.
Goto minister ni membe o bunda do kunna satara bota nyin kibaro kamara kalama me yalon kala jabiro kono.
They would have used the basis of the report to reply to our request for information or update on this case.
Ila jabiro ninkumu itel fanalu baju belale ka kuma kan dundije me yalon ko kibar folol menu itelier soton ibe la jabiro wasikeno kuma kan lu bondi wo kono me yalon ko ibe ole safela nan kaki nyimbunda fulanjango e ni menu be nyomoy kan Mike
Mr. Bajo, I appreciate all that.
Mr. Bajo, son to be
But this is a letter sent under your hand. And there is nothing in the letter which suggests to you which suggests to anybody that you did not know what you were talking about.
Yes, maybe that's how it would happen. If I was writing on behalf of government,
Mr. Bajo, are you hearing the interpretation?
Mr. Bajo,
sorry for that. Sorry.
Allow for the interpretation. Yes, proceed. Tenteng?
And then when the sister government ministry was consulted, they are the experts at it, and they were the ones handling it. So I don't need to have the report in my hand.
Mr. Bajo, did you in fact write the response,
Mr. Bajo,
the letter to the government of Ghana? Did you write it?
It's for sure it's written by the ministry, but you know, as ministers, we hardly seldom write letters to ourselves. The permanent secretary, that letter for you, based on the fact you have.
Ninyin ku façon lu nata safer la molu bi jele menu ka safero keno minister to yala menu be ko permanent secretary membe te koto do ko la wolu sikeno molu tile menu be letro nyin safela ite minister to yala.
Was this written from the foreign ministry or was it written from the Ministry of Interior?
Only later on in Safeta Kabo, Ministry member named Bantala Bankol Tema, warrant of later on in Safeta, Ministry could remember Marling Banko Konokunyala.
I'm not very 100% sure because it's why.
Among koim frem later on in a bonsu momenti.
But what I know for certain,
Baringamel long hanfa quaitama.
The information contained in the letter
Kibaro member letter okono.
Emanated from the Minister of the Interior, for sure.
Abota Minister Bundala, Menu Marata Banko Kankunyala.
Don't you listen to this other issue? In page 4 of the letter, its third paragraph states as follows. No, just a moment. Let me bring out another issue here. In last paragraph of page 3, says, in the absence of physical witnesses or forensic evidence on the murder of the 8 nationals on the 23rd day of July 2005,
Otumala menda sede jaro nyin la mabe bali ko nyin gono waranto forensic expert wolenka sabka furol nyin na ko jube nyin menketa July 2005.
The facts gathered during investigations could not establish the identity of the perpetrators. That too is false. The government knew who the perpetrators were.
Yes, indeed.
The letter went on to state, on the fate of the larger group, it is presumed that they might have escaped into Senegal. That too is another lie.
Indeed, based on the evidence that given to the theater, he said. They are all false.
And on page 4, third paragraph, you stated as follows. Quote, it is therefore inconceivable that at this point in time, the agents of the government of the Gambia should condone talk less of perpetuate heinous xenophobic crimes against our brothers and sisters from Ghana.
Masiba jawo ke mbadingulu la meni alonko wolle moluti meni alonko bota Ghana banko kan.
Why, my dear colleague, would Gambians be so hostile to Gambians that they would start killing them now?
Munana mbading Gambian ko lubina wuli la nyin tembeng ka nyinyon kuja ota kake mbading Ghana ko la molula.
Well, it's not a rhetorical question, Mr. Bajo. You can now answer this question, can't you? Seeing, having heard fully well what happened in the commission. So I ask you, why, my dear brother, would Gambians be so hostile to Ghanaians that they would start or they would kill them in the Gambia in 2005?
I still don't have an answer for that.
Is it not because of Yaya Jammeh's paranoia?
Indeed. Indeed. Very well.
So now you have the answer to your rhetorical question. If you were to face the Ghanaian president now, and you have the opportunity to tell him the truth about what has happened, how would you correct this rhetorical question that you have raised in your letter? What would you say to him?
Only to deeply apologize to him and the Ghanaians.
And would you tell him
that nothing more than an apology?
Would you tell him that the Ghanaians were killed in the Gambia?
Indeed, of course, I would.
Would you tell him that our former president Yaya Jammeh caused their execution?
Indeed, very well, I will.
Would you tell him that the government carried out a massive cover-up of their heinous crime?
Yes, I will tell him that I'll now go further to express my own disappointment and bitterness about the whole thing for being misled and that side of the history.
Metentena nga kwendia mako kuolu keta wole nyama adum benna ni kuya itandilala benna jikila teo itandilala mba itandilala kwenye mukuliti meya lonko kuya tante fonge kende kele amanken sawoti ndunkulo meya lonko kukeja wole memma nyankela mbebe bankela ene kabay nyoto.
Mr. Bajo, would you accept that you have not exercised due diligence in order to determine whether in fact the information you were given was correct?
Faybe san nanyim malako emang do ku tilndu ngada nyin kamala ka sabatindi ko kibaro men dita fo kibar na meya lon ko kibar to bar to nyaare ren wala.
With hindsight, yes, but at the time, no, I couldn't have done otherwise. I didn't have any means of verifying.
Ne ko nyin jube ko man to nu wotembo nte o keno la bari ko nyin ko la brin to nya na ta finti to nya la aketa wala nyama ku ke balolem mo brina tabo nyoto lem ka ko lankene ma utumo lem ko mona ta seria.
But Mr. Bajo, there was a file about this case at the foreign ministry, wasn't it?
Mr. Bajo, file benu njele nyin case la ko me alon ko be ministry membe nim maralin nim bantara bankol tema fon.
I think it should be there, but I don't handle files, and I didn't have any person at the file.
Ha ngamira betar la jele kadu ndebu ka o file wo kaytolu katara o file men ko mbe ka ulma adun amunta kule me ya lonko mantara nakaro la fanan wala nambuke mai mantara.
It appears, Mr. Bajo, that you just appended your signature to this letter without even knowing what you were doing. You were just signing a letter that was written. It is a story and details cooked up elsewhere, dished on a plate on your table, and you just signed it and dispatched it.
Amunda jinna ko Mr. Bajo ite data la don ibe letter le sign ko me alon ko imalo mun be fuduri nga letter o nyingono letter o nyinna ro ya ko nyimbe be fuduri nga kono ya top ya tabi mane ya nati ya landi le tabulo kay ko ya sign imalo men ba ko.
Yes, I would say I will agree with you based on the circumstances at the time.
Well, you have previously denied this, but from what you have just said, it seems you would agree that you are just used to send this letter and you did not know much about it.
No, not at all. I don't agree with that. I don't know how I said that. But what is starting was that.
You did not write the letter, did you?
Anyway, because I signed it, I wrote it. The draft was made for me by my permanent secretary.
But Mr. Bajo, you've just accepted that the information contained in it is not within your knowledge, and you now accept that the information is false.
Sabaye fonson tanyina kuma ka onyin letter onyin kuma ka membe furu nje amam fudela londo sa yini ya na ko fananko kuma kan soto balola.
No, because what came up from the proceedings of PRC has really exhibited that these were not facts, they were not true.
Même fintita TRRC la sede andirol kono jang wala nyinti ko kuma kan lu menu fotawo kay toto kuma soto balol lem ye molle sita doron yo kumolu fayño kan ya fewja ya dada ya safe bara manke to nyati a to nyana ta fintita TRRC la sede arol le to jang.
But doesn't that make it obvious that you are just used to sign this letter when in fact you did not have any connection to the facts, you did not even know whether the facts were true?
Po nyina manke to nyaade ni letero ni ya kelero ya nati kanero pour ya sign ni tumalambe na ite malo ni letero ni fon ko be furuna kono andum letero ni atata na da munem.
I could not agree with you that I was used, Or maybe if that happened, it was not to my knowledge, nobody would have used me.
Nte sonna ka foko ye muna fantilale bar na keta wala nyama fanan nte sonna ntafo no ko wotumo ko lulanya aniya tamandi nyame wala usabu.
Let me change the language. Let me change the words used. You were procured. You were procured to sign this letter to convey facts that were not within your knowledge. No. Procured does not mean sign.
Amunta.
Yes,
ye kalangi telale puruke filindi puruyanyin ni letter sign.
Yes, I can agree on that, what we do on that word.
Yes,
well, procuring in this instance would mean used.
How do you
feel, Mr. Bajo? That 15, 16 years, is it? Yes, 16 years hence, you would now see that the government that you served so badly blindsided you to send such a horrible letter to your Ghanaian counterpart.
I'll just repeat, I feel very bad, very bitter, and very deceived.
Aketanye nikuyati aninjikila teo aning bitung komasayo dro aketa woldi.
Before I let you go, Mr. Bajo, was this issue ever discussed in Parliament, in Cabinet while you were there?
Janembe bula Mr. Bajo yeta fonyin kuonyin anana kachata alfa kafol dolo memu cabinet tiba.
Never in my presence.
Anena mankente nyala.
Mr. Bajo, would you accept that that government you served was quite adept, quite used to covering up its crimes, seeing what happened in the Koresise case and what happened in this case?
Ko be sanna nyinnala ko masa kunda me alon ko do ko ka koton masa kunda me alon ko dalita le kirkela barakulta ka mabo abe ko no wala nyinti menketa Koresise la kula anin nyum ko nyingol be mel diamu kanten sai.
Yes, thanks to the TRRC.
Ha, tonyala, ala nin TRRC wale yo sabu wale ko banke.
I have no further questions for the witness. Let me ask you, do you regret your actions? Do you regret that you have signed this letter? You have sent this letter?
State Council, I will repeat that a million times. I have no amount of words to express my regret about that.
State Council mbe saying kanale membital han fo million nyong sinya million kanani kuyani nimiso yitandi me yalon ko wala ketanyin kolu lanyati.
And Mr. Bajo, you are telling this commission that you had no knowledge at all, no scintilla of knowledge that the information contained in the letter you sent was false.
Mr. Bajo, yen letter on menta ya sign men kita. Emang hani londi soto aku nyinto biring abekela.
I can assure you that, like lead counsel,
I will be last person lead counsel
to be knowing.
Could you say that again?
I said I fully agree with you. And I will be the last person to be knowingly used to cover up such atrocities.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. I have no further questions for you, and thank you for taking time off to talk to us and having waited this long. Thank you for your cooperation.
Thank you, Council.
You are most welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Bajo, for your testimony. Just one quick question. did you ever discuss the killing of the West African migrants with President Jammeh?
Fodum nyin nene sotontale nyin mo findula nyin tiliji banku dinglu men ye fa jang fo anene sotontale ni President Jammeh ya ko kacale bang.
Yes, it has happened.
Ha aketale.
What was the substance of that discussion?
Kachanyi munimune tarta kono.
That was to expedite the investigation. As my Ghanaian counterpart was all the time inquiring for me. Because we met several times in several meetings across the globe.
Katu nga benjamal leke fanna jamaluto dinkira jamaluto nyinko nka kacha damenuto.
Did he ever tell you what you should say to your Ghanaian counterpart, the foreign minister?
Fodung ate President Jammeh ne nyimfoyne ite nyanta memfola ido kumulunta nyoye me ya lonko wotumo wolem Ghana ko la ministati membe ni bantala bankol tema pour nina e nyoje.
Yes, Chairman, only to assure him that investigations are ongoing and the results will be provided to him.
Wala nyinti ko pour ka bambandiko kisikisirolu be kekanne adum fem findita o kisikisirolu kono fere wo fere tijemba kibarolu kafla nyomale ka banke wala ka ditolula.
Was the president aware of the letter or the contents of the letter that he eventually sent your Ghanaian counterpart?
Fodum president fanana tabo nyin kalamale kalimolu kuma kangolu menu be o letoro kono yemen ki nyin doku mulunta nyoye membe Ghana wotumo fo president yo kuma kangolu aye kalamutale ba.
I'm not very sure, Mr. Chairman, but I assume through the office of the Secretary General he would have.
Not from me directly. Chairman, bari ngambenyi mutala ko Secretary General wairi woye kolu kalangolong asikeno woye abondia kalama.
In order to coordinate the Gambian response to the Ghanaians, did you discuss with the Secretary General, if not with the President, the draft of the letter that you intended to send to the Foreign Minister of Ghana?
Fo nyinko kamala puru wairi kibaro bitala Ghana le fodum ini Secretary General al nene ya kumo kachale nyote maba wala nim president ya kumo kachale puru fahamuro si sotoje me ya lonko wala mu kalimol di wala kuma kan luti men be wala tro kono membe kila kata Ghana ko la minister ya membe ni mbantala banko lutema.
No, I don't think. I don't think.
Ani mamira woketa.
So the Secretary General did not see the draft that you eventually sent, as I said.
Bitunga muntako Secretary General mo kaiti dadari ngo nyinje natalaba menkila mane amunta Secretary General nyama mboyo kaito kan.
I'm not sure, honestly, Chairman. I don't want to lie.
Tonya amang koima Mr. Chairman malla finga kuma soto balofu.
And the President did not see the draft also.
Adum President fana mango kaiti dadari ngo je fana.
No, not from me.
Hani amambo ntela karola de.
Don't you find that odd? A major foreign policy issue like this, a foreign issue involving the death of over 40 foreign nationals, that remained only at the level of the foreign ministry in the Gambia, and that the President's office, the Secretary General, they did not see the response that you were sending, or were you only instructed to send the kind of response that you ended up sending to the Foreign Minister of Ghana?
Fanyimanke fe de unkoti wala kauko kuome ya lonko aketa nyinyon kukumati Gambia banko ning anyom bantala banko tema game ya lonko membitala hanfo mo tanani nyong wolu niwo kasarata ko men kono wo ku façon yeke bitun silang jabiro men nyanta tala wo bantala banko wo wandi banku do kan menula molu fata wonya kayto men de data pour membe kila woliya satara banko la secretary general amalon mun kulle be letoro kono wala president fam mamba kalama fo wodum wo manke jakali koti fe bang.
Sorry. It could be strange, indeed. I think it could be strange if they had not seen the letter. And they agree with me strange. And the other thing, I was not instructed to reply.
So it was your own initiative alone.
Amunda ketete fangola feroleti idam manamiro.
Yes, because the letter was addressed to me, and I felt I was at liberty to get the facts from the relevant government ministry and reply to my colleague letter.
Ha, so nyal, katu ye letter men kinan ya kinan telekan. Adungana takumaya nte fanam feko. Woto nyin ko kono kolu men ba kono tonya ntela kibaro men nyanta kila woto mbadunga sorry mbadunga nyindiro ke kuma kanulula me yalon ko minister bunda me marta kola itel sikibaro dintela kibaro me yalon ko saka funyoma mbe men kila moliye pour que la lettre jabi men ye lettre kinan tekan ngakibaro wala ngakumota wulu bulu wo minister bunda bulu nga nyin kumolu jabi wala.
But you just said that the president told you, perhaps more than once, to expedite the investigation with a view to responding to the Ghanaian inquiry.
But then fanam fajanko sinya jama president ka foyenko pour ye kisikisiro nyin tariandi nyin kamala isi jabiro ken sunno nyamen ibe men kila nyim moli men yalan ko lebe Ghana.
No, Chairman, maybe you misunderstand me. I said when the Ghanaian colleague follow up the matter with me, I raised it with the president then. What his reply was that investigation will be expedited so that we can reply to Ghana. I was not doing the investigation.
Atela jabiro kita muniti wala mnyintinga katanga kisikisiro tariandi puru nse mbe Ghana jabila kumakangulu menula bara manke konta kumu fangola kisikisiro lem
ama fondo ngakisira ko kisikira albe kisikiro kelala kanta manda kisiro ko ta apprenti ko tariandi
ha munda kisikisiro la ko le kisikisiro tariandi bari te kumote kisikisiro kono.
Anyway, Commissioners, if Imam Jallo, you have the floor, please.
Imam Jallo, lafta nyininka rokela.
Witness, I find your narration very interesting. You and all the other people who worked for Yaya Jammeh during his period, you simply obeyed everything he asked you to do. You never thought for yourselves, and even at international level, I cannot understand how you can use a letter that you are not convinced about, because certainly you are not convinced about the content and the truthfulness of that letter. Why did you participate in this venture? Please explain.
Thank you very much, Imam. I agree with you. Most of us who served in Yaya Jammeh's government at one point or the other were in a way misled. Some would have done it deliberately. But as far as this matter is concerned, I did not. The letter I wrote did not come from Yaya Jammeh, neither the words come from him.
Nga letro menki a manke ko abotaya jammele bulu wala manke ko kumakango wala do ko nyimbotati la karola.
The facts or what are now found to be lies
kumakango lu aning menu banketa sai menu nata findiko wulumu kumasoto balol leti
were administratively and professionally obtained from a competent government line ministry.
Nga kumakango lu menu be faje njikitala nu wotumol kolu mu kumato nyaleti kumasoto ringol lem men ya lonko nge soto minister bunda dole fanambulu men ya lonko nyinko abelari wolle bulo kono nun.
And I think the report of the panel is a testimony to that.
Adungamira panelo ye kibaro mendi wulio ko sede andile.
Mr. Chair, may I take up the witness up on that? Mr. Bajo, are you serious about what you've just said?
Mr. Bajo, ilata yin nalama yemen fo jam sign demba.
That
like
this
what?
was
Sorry?
Professional discharge of responsibilities? Is that what you say?
No. No, I wouldn't say that. I said it was obtained from the line ministry through administrative and processing survey. That's the way we sought information from the ministry on the property. So even though the fact the information were found in the report, but what we did was to consult them and the supply group.
Nyin kuma kan lu menu fotaten nataje menu ya lonko wollem kuma soto baloliti ndel ngado ko la nyale sata andu ngaw kenya min wolem nyintiko ado ko kisikisiro nin akobe lari menu bulu wala kata minister bundati mem marta banko kan kunyalla ndel ngang sembe wollela nga kibaro nyini wolle bulo kono wol yekibaro nin kalimolu menu dintolla ndel fanalu jikita wollela nga wolle ta ka kafunyoma ka safe wolle tata nyin kuma
Mr. Bajo, you have agreed that the information you conveyed was false, correct?
Mr. Bajo, ison da nyin nalago kibaro me yalongo iko yewole futande kibaro le me yalongo tonyata kono. Phone.
Yes, very good. That's established.
You have agreed that it was a cover-up to so as not to disclose the heinous conduct of the Gambia government. Correct?
Yes, by the source of the information.
From your knowledge of the administration that you served, would such blatant cover-up have taken place without the consent and directions of Yaya Jammeh?
Itela londo to me alon ko yedo ko yin do ko ke wala kono fo ni ko nyita mabo wala kono itela mira lodo nyin ko si tamano la ban ning ayatara Yaya Jammeh ala londo na ala kalamuta do teje ba.
Impossible, no way. Nobody will try that.
So this nasty cook-up was a cook-up by Yaya Jammeh, wasn't it?
Indeed, I agree with you very well.
Thank you very much.
And the role of the line ministry, that's a procedural route, Mr. Minister, that the line ministry was responsible for XYZ. The line ministry supervised the investigation. Line ministry perhaps sent you the report of November 9th, 2005. And on the basis of that, you just signed a letter without questioning anything from the line ministry. How could that be?
Saying, Mr. Bajo, kibaro me yalon ko wala ketateng wala kitateng. Minister Bunda memmaratala abe memmaten ko wala mo line ministry tingala wala minister Bundati memmarta banko kan kunyal wole ko lube tabi ya kafunyo ma ya kibaro buntung inata o kibaro le dada me ya lonko anata sign November karoti likononto me ya lonko aketa kuoti men tabita silang fo wo mukuleti me ya lonko ite abe nyadile.
Thank you, Chairman.
Inumbara Chairman.
At the time,
wotembo
I had no means to verify
fere tembulu
the veracity or otherwise.
pour ka nyin kumo bo nyoto wala ka tonya yandi wala ka jaba kese woto wo fero tembulu nu wotumo.
And also at that time,
ka afulanja wo fanan wotembo
I didn't have the cause also to doubt.
wotumo man dalila je men sa kendi insisobi wala nga hakil fulo soto ak woto.
Because the allegations were the actions that were done were really very serious. And I didn't expect that.
Katu kolu menu keta nu wotembo eketa ku bambandi mballeti men yalon ko itamata nu wotumo.
I didn't expect the government to be involved in such.
Majiki nunko mansakunda be anyi nyon ku fasongo kela.
And because I cannot imagine why that would have happened.
Katu ma mira no munan na nyi nyon ku fasongo seke.
Much more for a cover.
Sako kana akuota ka mabo.
Thank you.
Inumbarasa.
Jonaka, you wanted the floor?
Isonaka.
Thank you. I will start with this question, picking up from where Chairman left. Because you've testified here before, and that was regarding the death of Koro. You were a minister at that time. And it seems there were similar cover-ups, but you just told this commission that you didn't expect such cover-ups to happen. So I find that a bit contradictory.
I don't understand your question.
I will just move on with my next question. And the question is, you've extended an apology to the current president of Ghana. Would you be willing to extend similar apology to the victims and their families?
Indeed, Commissioner Ka, with much haste. And by extension to the Gambian people.
My final question is, if you are in a similar situation today, what would you do differently? I ask this question in line with the apology that you have extended to the government of Ghana. The victims, the Gambian people, and your expression of regret.
I believe it will happen again, but should I be in the same position today?
Manjiki kanyo bekela alamantan kalama bar nimisali kama anyon ku fasongo wulita bi.
I will not take it for granted that those doing their work were doing it with sincerity and honesty.
Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you. Mr. Bajo, if you have any concluding remarks to make, please proceed to make them now.
Mr. Bajo, ni kumasoto ebela kacha kumfala melna isitente.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Inumbara Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Commissioner Lu Al Nimbara.
Thank you, Lead Counsel.
Inumbara Lead Counsel.
As difficult as it might be,
Aba akoleata ko akata ase keno nyaming.
But there's no a better moment to discuss this issue.
Bari wati man tambinyin watu la purka nyin kumofo.
When the investigators called me about a week ago,
Birin kisirla lu yen kumandi lokum killing komanto.
I felt obliged to appear and discuss this matter. This and all other previous matters that the TRRC has dealt with or is still handling
ko TRRC kumolu menu ma anin kolu menu be ibulo kono hani bi
are a big lesson for all of us as Gambians.
Ni mukaram balete aketa Gambian ko li karam bunguleti Gambia mu meobe
Especially public servants.
Sako man sakunda do kulalo
I wish
mbela fila nyinna
ngani
hameko
we could have taken the clock backwards.
Ninsi montoro murundi nun koma
I think it would have been very different for all of us.
Nim gato si murunun koma ngalon ko abe kala ku abe fatam fansila la be fatalale ko be kala nyami.
This will lead me to commending the TRRC
Nyimbe akela siloti fana ngatente ngati TRRC jai
on earthing
puru ka kuolu dolu fintindi
some of the issues that have some of the incidents that have occurred in our country
kuolu dolu men yalon ko wolle ketal na banko kan
which some of us even we are in high position in government
kuolu men yalon ko hani mtelu dolu men yalon ko be place balu to man sakunda kono
would have denied of their veracity.
Mba soso la nuninga kuonyin kalanglon kuolu hakke isangarata nyamin.
Therefore,
wakamala
myself, Lamin Kaba Bajo,
Lamin Kaba Bajo,
I will not hesitate to extend my deepest apologies
to
all the victims, their families, both within the country and without the country. Because one way or the other, we remain in the history books for serving the past government for a number of years. As I said, it's a lesson for all of us to be very careful the way we execute our functions.
Nga kuolu tambin nga hakilo tambin dimbe kokundin kela nga ke hakil tuoti
so that history will not repeat itself.
Puru tariko menketa nyi nyongoti wakana sayin kan koteke.
And I want to thank you once again.
Koteke woto mbali numbara la.
And then looking forward
andu mbeji kilako
the entrenchment of your slogan.
Allah sando men abe foka ngale memuta
in the hearts and minds of every Gambian.
Puru sando silo ay silo dung Gambia dinglu be juso kono wala isondo molu kono
till posterity.
Fajal ning faw
because we are all affected one way or the other.
Katu akoye mbele ma nyado nyama wala nyakarado la.
Thank you very much.
Allah baraka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister Lamin Kaba Bajo, for your testimony.
Minister Lamin Kaba Bajo ila sede kan.
This brings us to the
Mr. Chair, just a technical issue before you adjourn. The letter of 2nd December 2005, I want to put it in as Exhibit 207.
207.
No, should be 208. Should be 208.
I was just going to remind you that
it should be 208. Yes.
208.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Fine. As I was saying, this brings us to the end of the theme on West African migrants. If there are any residuals that come up, we will take them at that time.
Chairman ko abe mobe numbara la barbitung nyine be mfutandila ko bandulato menketa nyimmo findu tiliji banku dingulu la koti men yalon ko ye fanyim banko kan ala kobe dan najanne barbitung nim misali kamma kulunata soto men yalon ko mu kuto malleti menu nata finti akonyin kono ifindita wato membe talale barbitung ko lanya la karola mbe dan najanne folo.
We thank all witnesses who have come before the Commission as we examine this theme.
Mbe sedolu be numbarala mbe jayila menu be nata sede yaroke nyinko kono wato membe kachakan nyinko kumala.
We will raise the highlights of this particular theme.
Nyinko men kachata teng mbala kolu wulindila leke banke
at the beginning of our next session,
na kacha na si kotengo damuta dulato,
which would be the 21st session of this commission,
membe kala nyin commission la si muang anin kilinjamoti,
and that would open on Monday 22nd March.
Wala be datila tenelungo March karoti limuang anin fulo.
In the meantime, the Commission would work in its committees.
As
well as the working group on the preparation of the final report.
And kafo doku kafo menu nyanta kibaro nyimume be kafula nyoma kolu menu be tamata TRRC jang kabiringa lota wo doku bunda fanang ul fanal be kontinela ila doku lale.
So next week would be devoted to those internal activities.
Bitu nyelo kunala doko be tilinna ko melna wolem ko kono doku bunda nyim fankono kolu menu nyanta tamala.
And we will resume, as I said, on Monday 22nd March.
Thank you
all very much, and thank you for attention.
Meeting
is adjourned.